Italy's decision to host production lines for Baykar's flagship unmanned combat systems marks a strategic inflection point not only for Rome, but for the European defense ecosystem as a whole. Through the joint venture LBA Systems, owned equally by Leonardo and Baykar and headquartered in Italy, the country is positioning itself as the Central European gateway for combat-proven Turkish drones, the Bayraktar TB2 and TB3, the Akinci UCAV and the jet-powered Kizilelma unmanned fighter. While the announcement can be read as another industrial cooperation story, its implications reach much further, touching on questions of technological sovereignty, NATO burden sharing and the future architecture of air power on the continent. The production model chosen for LBA Systems is decentralized yet tightly integrated. Grottaglie in southern Italy, long associated with advanced composite work for wide-body airliners, is set to become the hub for manufacturing and final integration of the Kizilelma, turning an existing civil aerospace asset into a launch pad for a next-generation UCAV with loyal wingman ambitions. Ronchi dei Legionari in the northeast will focus on navalized TB3 systems, while Villanova di Albenga in the northwest is earmarked for TB2 and Akinci assembly. Supporting them, engineering and certification centers in Turin and Rome will adapt each platform to European regulatory frameworks, secure communication standards and NATO interoperability requirements, turning Turkish designs into Europeanized combat capabilities rather than simple licensed copies. From an industrial perspective, the partnership solves problems for both sides. For Baykar, Italian production offers a politically palatable EU-based manufacturing and support network that can unlock markets where direct Turkish export has been constrained or sensitive. For Leonardo and Italy, it injects into their portfolio a family of systems that have been tested in real conflicts, delivered at scale and continuously modernized. Instead of waiting for long-delayed indigenous programs or fragmented national projects, Rome effectively buys time and relevance by plugging into a proven ecosystem and wrapping it with European electronics, mission systems and certification expertise, offering potential customers credible, ready-now systems sourced from within the EU. Strategically, LBA Systems should be viewed against the backdrop of Europe's struggle to reconcile ambitions for strategic autonomy with dependence on US and Israeli unmanned technologies. Hosting production of TB2, TB3, Akinci and Kizilelma does not give Europe a fully sovereign UAV portfolio, but it shifts the balance from pure imports to joint-controlled capacity located on European territory. Industrial know-how, integration authority and support infrastructure are anchored in Italy. That means employment, technology circulation and political leverage remain in European hands even as Turkish intellectual property underpins the core airframes. In practice, this blurs the line between foreign and domestic capability in a way many EU governments may find both pragmatic and attractive. The operational logic is equally significant. The TB2 and Akinci are already familiar names on modern battlefields, valued for endurance, modular payloads and relatively low cost. The TB3 adds carrier-capable flexibility, aligning with the Italian Navy's interest in extending the reach of its aviation component without relying solely on manned fighters. Kizilelma, if it matures as envisioned, introduces a stealthier, faster, heavy payload unmanned combat aircraft able to operate as a standoff striker or as a loyal wingman alongside manned jets. Producing and tailoring these systems in Italy enables LBA Systems to design mission packages optimized for European concepts of operation, integration into multi-domain command networks, secure NATO data links, electronic warfare resilience and teaming with crewed aircraft such as the Eurofighter Typhoon or future GCAP platforms. Another key dimension is regulatory and political. Certification of medium and high-altitude UAVs for operation in European airspace has long been a bottleneck. By embedding certification, testing and regulatory compliance inside the Italian-led side of the venture from the start, Leonardo is building a bridge between combat aircraft-style safety regimes and wartime drone use. If successful, this framework could become a reference model for other European programs and ease cross-border operations during NATO exercises and missions. It also lowers the risk that future political tensions or export control shifts could sever support chains, as maintenance and upgrades would be available from within the EU. For NATO, the move carries clear messaging. Establishing a production base for combat drones on EU soil, under a joint venture of two allied defense champions, strengthens the alliance's resilience and diversifies supply away from single-nation bottlenecks. It adds depth to the collective industrial base at a time when demand for unmanned systems is rising due to lessons from Ukraine, the Middle East and other theaters. Italy upgrades its profile from consumer to enabler, a state that not only fields advanced drones, but helps equip partners across Europe with interoperable platforms, potentially packaged with training, sustainment and integration support delivered through LBA Systems. This transformation is not without friction points. Critics may question whether building on Turkish designs truly supports long-term autonomy, or whether it entrenches another layer of dependence on a partner whose foreign policy sometimes diverges from EU positions. Others may worry about proliferation dynamics. Easier access to combat-proven systems could accelerate regional arms races or create export dilemmas if customers with problematic records seek Italian-produced variants to bypass scrutiny applied to direct Turkish deliveries. Addressing these concerns will demand strict end-user controls, coordinated export policies and clear alignment between Rome, Ankara, Brussels and NATO standards. Yet the alternative is hardly attractive. Without such partnerships, European states face a persistent capability gap in the unmanned domain, forced to choose between expensive bespoke programs, reliance on U.S. assets or ad hoc acquisitions that lack standardization and industrial depth. In that light, the Leonardo-Baykar alliance looks like a calculated gamble, an attempt to fuse combat-proven platforms, European regulatory discipline and high-end electronics into a modular product line that can be fielded quickly, upgraded continuously, and embedded in allied networks. If production milestones are met and regulatory approval flows as planned, Italy will have quietly engineered one of the most consequential UAV industrial pivots in Europe, shaping how the continent fights, teeters and innovates in the air domain for years to come. Ultimately, Italy's embrace of Baykar's systems through LBA Systems is less about importing drones and more about redefining defense cooperation. It signals that in an era of rapid technological change and rising security risks, real influence belongs to those who can integrate foreign innovation without surrendering control, turning partnerships into durable, locally rooted capability. On that measure, the new Italian production lines for Bayraktar, Akinci and Kizilelma may prove to be among Europe's most strategically relevant investments in its search for stronger, smarter air power.